So we're going to introduce our cigars real quick. Going around the room, Andy, what are you smoking today?
I don't know, Zach, what am I smoking today? Because we picked this up at the same event. You got a better memory for names than I do.
That's a lie about the names thing, but I think, and Skip can pronounce it properly, is the quinquagenarian. Is that close?
Quinquagenarian. Close.
Okay.
Close enough for Louisiana speak.
And I am smoking the Chillin' Moose because I cannot get anything RoMa Craft in Georgia. Now, let me take that back. Noonan, Georgia cannot get anything RoMa Craft because we've already established in a previous podcast we can't have any nice things in Noonan, Georgia.
It's not
Come
just
to tobacco. Actually, I'm just screwing around. I also have one of the Universario, whatever you want to call it.
I think yours might be a Neanderthal.
Yeah, I think he said this might be a Neanderthal because of the flat cap.
Right. Those are segundos. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So see how light that one is?
Yeah.
It didn't make the cut. So.
Yeah. That's why Jason was handing them out to me like left and right at the event here a couple of months ago.
Yeah, we probably about, depends on the blend, but between 3 and 5% of our cigars. What happens is when you're making them, the wrapper's wet. You've gone through the process of sorting the wrapper and grading it, but once you put it on a cigar, and it's stretched out and it dries, you can sometimes see defects that you couldn't see before. So once it gets through the aging process, if a cigar is a bad cigar, like it's underfilled or has a soft spot or something's wrong with it at the table, that's called a fire or a failure or a factory reject, right? That's about, I don't know, it's a very small number, maybe 1% or less. I mean, if somebody makes 400 cigars on a really, really bad day, maybe they have 5 or 10, but most days they maybe have 2. So it's a really low percentage. If it doesn't make weight, for example, if it's too heavy or too light, once it gets accepted, it goes into the aging room, and once it comes out of the aging room, 3, 4, 5 months later, it goes to a table where they're sorting it for color, so that each box is the same shade, right? So if they see something like a nick on the wrapper, or the cap is coming off, or it's gotten damaged in the process of being moved around, it either becomes what's called a reemplazo, which is they replace the wrapper, or it's a segundo. The only reason it would be a reemplazo is if it's really bad, like half the wrapper, like an inch of the wrapper got torn off or something like that. If it's a little aesthetic problem, it becomes a segundo, and so we end up with 40, 50,000 of those a year. And so historically we've smoked those ourselves. We've given them out kind of at the visitors or whatever. We've always sold them at the factory for $1 or $2. But we're really working on some way to get those to consumers without kind of undercutting the core cigars. Because as you guys can see, that cigar is light, but it's going to smoke perfectly fine. The other cigar may have some other aesthetic issue, but it's going to smoke perfectly fine. If I'm a consumer and I smoke Cro-Magnon EMHs, and I have the opportunity to buy the same cigar that's a little bit ugly, it's half the price, I'm going to do that, right? So, yeah. So we're working on a way, because to me the segundos are a great thing. Like, how they say if you buy a box, you get 5 free or whatever. I'm not a big fan of giving away 5 cigars because what you're saying is that your cigars are, not worth what they're worth. And, but, I think buying a box of cigars and getting 5 segundos, or buying a box, or, giving a segundo to someone to try a brand, blind, and say, hey, did you like that? If you do, this is what that was. There's a lot of ways you can use the segundos that way. We're just working on how to do that.
Cool. That's a great idea.
But anyway,
It gives you an opportunity to get rid of the extra stuff.
Well, it is
Yeah.
tasty, as usual.
well, we're pretty particular about what gets the label on it. Of course, every factory has their own standard, but to me, a cigar doesn't have to be pretty to be good. But it also should be consistent, right? I mean, you shouldn't have anything too light. It shouldn't have 2 colors. The cap shouldn't be a different color. There shouldn't be a patch on it. There shouldn't be, if you're paying $10, $8 to $12 cigar, you should be getting a premium cigar.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
What are you smoking on there today?
Hey, what are you smoking? Yep.
I'm smoking an old, where's an old MK Ultra.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's probably 7, 8 years old, maybe. It's one of my favorite lighter cigars.
Perfect cigar for before you get on a plane, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's getting to the sad part. I'm down to the nub of mine. So we're probably going to rate this for you. For mine, I mean, you knocked it out of the park again. Great freaking cigar. I mean, start to finish.
That's a segundo, so that's probably a $2 cigar. Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Okay.
Thank you, man.
It's great. I don't want to put it down. I'm going to let it continue burning my lips until I can't get any more out of it. Didn't leave a film on my mouth, which everybody knows. If for me, leaves a film on my mouth, it takes me right out of the cigar. I don't like it. So for this one, I'm probably going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. I do like probably 2 other lines a little bit better than this one. One second. And that's kind of the only reason I'm knocking it down just a little bit, because those other 2 that I've had just floored me. So, but this one, again, I would pick it up in a heartbeat if I found it in my local tobacconist. So 4.5, it's good.
So the question is, if your local tobacconist won't carry it, you got to figure out a place to get them, right? You got to buy.
Exactly.
You got to support one of these little guys that'll ship it to you, like
Exactly.
Cigar Hustler or my son-in-law at Riverside, or the Creto, or there's a bunch of places. Tommy up at Nickel City, Small Batch. There's a lot of places that'll send them to you. You got to find that and stop buying those.
Right.
Stop buying those $23 Placencias. No.
Right? No, we rely pretty heavy on Penny. If we can't find something we really wanted, we'll call Penny up in New Hampshire.
Yeah, she has.
She'll send the stuff. Yeah, she sends it. She's a big fan of RoMa.
Yeah, she
Talk
has.
about them a lot. Yeah, she loves them. So we usually ask her.
Gives
But,
us
Andy.
gives us nice enough to text Penny one time and go, look, I just had this RoMa thing. This is awesome. I want to buy some more. So she ends up sending 20 cigars between the 5 of us. Here,
She did.
There you go.
try these.
Yeah, Penny's great.
Penny's awesome.
Yeah, Penny's awesome.
She's kind of crazy, but in a good way.
She's crazy in a good way.
Very crazy. Lovable.
These are kind of crazy.
Yeah, she's
That's
definitely
right.
crazy.
She's a not boring kind of crazy.
There you go. How about you, Andy?
I think this is the second time I've smoked the Quincenario. Yeah, that'll work.
It's Ken, like Ken and Barbie.
Okay.
Like the Jerry, I want the Quan. Qua.
Huh?
Gin, like the drink. Ario, like like Ario.
Inguagenario.
Kin,
Got it.
qua, gin, Ario. It's Italian, not Spanish, by the way.
That's where I'm struggling with it. It's delicious, and you know,
Thank you, man.
I know it doesn't come from the RoMa Craft factories in beautiful Nicaragua, but
Yeah, it's almost all Dominican except for the wrapper, which is Sumatra. It's almost all Dominican, but it doesn't taste like a Dominican cigar. So
Nope.
Yeah.
it hits all the points, and for me, I won't list them because they're long and distinguished. But
It took a long time to be able to make a Nicaraguan cigar in the Dominican with Dominican tobacco.
I'll bet.
I mean, to make a RoMa cigar. I mean, it tastes like a RoMa cigar.
Mhm.
So
But on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm definitely going to give it a 5 because you know when I find them, I'll grab one, and if I need Penny to send me some, I'll get her to send me some. But yeah, for me, this is a 5. And most of the aromas I think I've had have been 4.5s to 5s because they hit right. Their price point is, you do a great job of keeping the price where I can't afford to smoke 2 or 3 of them a day if that was my goal.
right.
And I usually buy them like I want to smoke 3 or 4 of them at a day. It's 100 fucking degrees out here. I'm not smoking 4 or 5 cigars on the patio.
Yeah, it's actually about 100 here also, but probably not as humid as where you are.
Well, I'm in Louisiana, and the water table's 3 inches below the ground, and there's a pond behind my house. So
Right.
Zach's down the street, so I know it's just as hot for him. But I'll stop running my mouth and let Zach talk.
Well, this is also my second Ken on Gin area.
There you go.
And I love the first one, and this one was just as good, and definitely tastes like a RoMa. It's got all the complexity that I would want out of it, and as I'm getting towards the end of it, it has, I want there to be more of it, but I'm glad I can enjoy it the size that it was made, and so I tend to rate RoMa pretty highly also, and I kind of echo a little bit of what Andy's saying about the cigar. It's just solid and it tastes great start to finish, and I'm also going to give it a 5 out of 5 leaves. Even though probably my favorite RoMa right now is the Intemperance EC, which is very different from this, I think. But it's a great cigar, and I know it's like a limited release, but if it ever shows up again, or I can get one at an event or something, like I got this one, then I definitely will. Really, really good cigar.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, with that,
I would give mine a 5 also. I think it's an Op 9 or an Op something Ultra. Came in a flat box with like 20 cigars.
Mm-hmm.
I found them, and then I of course I started calling every cigar store in the country I could find that may have them, so I could accumulate them. I don't know if they made them more than one time, but they're really, really good.
that's awesome.